everyone, welcome to Aviva Studios. Today I'm going to be ranking my favorite poems. But first, I would like to give honorary mentions to Charles Bukowski. Bukowski is a very interesting poet, but he hasn't written anything that I love. Nothing I want to put on this list. But here are the honorary mentions that I would like to put somewhere, so I'm going to start here. Let It Enfold You, Save Your Spark, Bluebird, and The Secret. So first things first, Let It Enfold You. This one is pretty long, so I'm not going to read it all. It begins like this. Either peace or happiness, let it enfold you. When I was a young man, I felt these things were dumb, unsophisticated. I had bad blood, a twisted mind, a precarious upbringing. I was hard as granite. I leered at the sun. I trusted no man, and especially no woman. So he begins by talking about how his life was terrible and how he had bad thoughts. Then there's a change. I reformulated. I don't know when, date, time, all that, but the change occurred. Something in me relaxed, smoothed out. I no longer had to prove that I was a man. I didn't have to prove anything. I began to see things. Coffee cups lined up behind a counter in a cafe, or a dog walking along a sidewalk, or the way that mouse on my dresser top stopped there with its body, its ears, its nose. It was fixed, a bit of life caught within itself, and its eyes looked at me, and they were beautiful. Then it was gone. He's able to talk about really simple things in a beautiful way. I like the alliteration in the poem with the coffee cups. I like the way he talks about his life, which is why the poem is worth checking out on your own and finishing for yourself. Then there's the bluebird, which I'm only going to read 2 stanzas from. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I pour whiskey on him and inhale cigarette smoke, and the whores and the bartenders and the grocery clerks never know that he's in there. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay down. Do you want to mess me up? You want to screw up the works? You want to blow my book sales in Europe? Okay, so I've heard people say that this poem is about toxic masculinity, but to me it's more likely, and a much better interpretation, to say that the poem is about an artist who thinks he cannot create great art unless he's miserable. It's the idea that great art only comes from pain. It's a really interesting poem. I like it. This one is called The Spark, and it's pretty short, so I'm going to read it all. I knew that I was dying. Something in me said, go ahead, die, sleep, become as them, accept. Then something else in me said, no, save the tiniest bit. It needn't be much, just a spark. A spark can set a whole forest on fire. Just a spark. Save it. This is a pretty cool poem about being yourself and not being like society, right? So there's a part of him that says, go ahead, die, be like society. But then there's another part that says you shouldn't, right? And it's written very lovely, so that's why I put it here. And the last poem is called The Secret. Don't worry, nobody has the beautiful lady. Not really. And nobody has the strange and hidden power. Nobody is exceptional or wonderful or magic. They only seem to be. It's all a trick, an in, a con. Don't buy it. Don't believe it. The world is packed with billions of people whose lives and deaths are useless. And when one of these jumps up and the light of history shines upon them, forget it. It's not what it seems. It's just another act to fool the fools again. There are no strong men. There are no beautiful women. At least you can die knowing this, and you will have the only possible victory. Well, that was kind of dark. Right, it's a very good poem. It's very punchy. It's got very good language, simple language. Like, he knows exactly which words to use when he needs to use them, and that's great. Bukowski is either saying one or two things. He's either saying that there is no such thing as success, or he should say success isn't that big a deal, so you shouldn't worship these people who succeed. And either of those is interesting. So I like this one. I also saw a comment from Reddit from someone who said, oh, the waiter must have got his order wrong before he wrote this poem. Yeah. Okay, so there's the honorary mentions. Now let's get to my top 10 favorite poems. Number 10, In the Desert by Stephen Crane. In the desert, I saw a creature, naked, bestial, who, squatting upon the ground, held his heart in his hands and ate of it. I said, "Is it good, friend?" "It is bitter, bitter," he answered, "but I like it because it is bitter, and because it is my heart." This poem has well-crafted, simple language. It's got the perfect word choice, perfect adjectives. It slowly builds with the humanizing of the creature. First we call it a creature, then we call it a him, and then we finally call it a friend, which is very nice. It's got great imagery, puts a picture in your mind. The ghoulish image of the creature eating a heart, of it eating its own heart, will never leave me, right? I'll always remember that. So, being memorable is a plus. Number 9, Two Things by Langston Hughes. Two things possess the power. Two things deserve the name. Two things can reawaken perpetually the flame. Two things are full of wonder. Two things cast off all shame. One is known by the name of death, and the other has no name, except the name each gives it, in no single mouth the same. I like poems that rhyme. This poem is whimsical, but not childish, and it also leaves you with something that we all understand, even if you're not sure what the second thing is. Number 8, I Saw a Man Pursuing the Horizon by Stephen Crane. I saw a man pursuing the horizon. Round and round they sped. I was disturbed at this. I accosted the man. "It is futile," I said. "You can never." "You lie," he cried, and ran on. This one is very simple. It's just about the human urge to keep trying, or rebelliousness. I heard someone say the indomitable human spirit. Number 7, The Quiet World by Jeffrey McDaniel. In an effort to get people to look into each other's eyes more, and also to appease the mutes, the government has decided to allot each person exactly 167 words per day. When the phone rings, I put it to my ear without saying hello. In the restaurant, I point at chicken noodle soup. I am adjusting well to the new way. Late at night, I call my long-distance lover, proudly say, "I only used 59 today. I saved the rest for you." When she doesn't respond, I know she's used up all her words. So I slowly whisper, "I love you," 32 and a third times. After that, we just sit on the line and listen to each other breathe. I like the fact that it doesn't have adjectives, and the poem makes me want to see a short film about it. One of the thoughts I had after I read it was how his long distance lover doesn't seem to love him as much as he loves her because she ran out of words, but he didn't. So there's a thought. Number 6, The Committee Weighs In by Andrea Cohen. I tell my mother I've won the Nobel Prize. "Again?" she says. "Which discipline this time?" "It's a little game we play. I pretend I'm somebody. She pretends she isn't dead." I'm a big fan of poems with simple language. This one is excellent. It says so much without even saying it, right? So it's talking about the lingering effects of the mother's words on the daughter. Because just the fact that she once said that she had to accomplish a lot, so she's telling the mother after she's dead, "This is what I accomplished," even if it isn't true. So, very beautiful, effective language. Love it. It's about how the words your parents tell you always stay. Number 5, Pluto Shits in the Universe by Fatima Ashgar. This poem is long enough that I don't want to read the whole thing here. You should definitely check it out yourself. It has a great beginning and a great end. The character of the poem is really good, so I'm just going to read the beginning and end, and you can go and see it for yourself and read the whole thing. You won't be disappointed. "Today, I broke your solar system." "Oops, my bad. Your graph said I was supposed to make a little nice looper in the sun." "Nah, I chaos like a motherfucker." Right. It has a really great start like that, right? And it ends very well. Um, the conclusion, they gotta memorize new songs and shit, and the other planets, I fucked their orbits, I shook the sky, chaos like a motherfucker. It is February 7th, 1979. The sky is blue gold, the freedom of possibility. Today, I broke your solar system. Oops, my bad. I'm going to leave a link in the description for a reading of the poem that's by the poet herself. It's really good. It's much better than I can do. It's very funny. The character is funny, especially when she reads it. Um, Word choice is great. Has a great finish. Where she talks about the peace she feels about being unique, about being herself. This is one of the best poems I've ever read about uniqueness. So you have to check it out. Number 4, The Orange by Wendy Cope. At lunchtime, I bought a huge orange. The size of it made us all laugh. I peeled it and shared it with Robert and Dave. They got quarters and I got a half. And that orange made me so happy, as ordinary things often do. Just lately, the shopping, a walk in the park. This is peace and contentment, it's new. The rest of the day was quite easy. I did all of the jobs on my list and enjoyed them and had some time over. I love you. I'm glad I exist. What can I say? This poem is just cute. It's the only poem I've ever read about joy that was good. Right? The only poem about joy that's good is this one. So I had to share it. It had to be on the list. Hope you like it. Number 3, A Noiseless Patient Spider by Walt Whitman. A noiseless patient spider. I marked where on a little promontory it stood isolated, marked how to explore the vacant vast surrounding. It launched forth filament, 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 out of itself, ever unreeling them, ever tirelessly speeding them. And you, oh my soul, where you stand, surrounded, detached, in measureless oceans of space, ceaselessly musing, venturing, throwing, seeking the spheres to connect them, till the bridge you will need be formed, till the ductile anchor hold, till the gossamer thread you fling catch somewhere. Oh, my soul. The language and imagery in this is so good. And it's also very relatable, right? It's just about a single soul trying to reach out for a place or a person. Number 2, This Be the Verse by Philip Larkin. They fuck you up, your mom and dad. They may not mean to, but they do. They fill you with the faults they had and add some extra just for you. But they were fucked up in their turn by fools in old-style hats and coats, who half the time were soppy stern and half at one another's throats. Man hands on misery to man. It deepens like a coastal shelf. Get out as early as you can, and don't have any kids yourself. This poem is literally perfect. I literally have no complaints about this poem. The rhyming is great, the lines are great, word choices are great. I like how the poet offers sympathy for the parents who are bad in the second stanza, and the last stanza is a great finish. Um, the last stanza also appears in the final book in a series of unfortunate events, which is an excellent choice. Of course, the other stanzas couldn't appear in the children's book because of the swearing, right? But if you're gonna put if you're gonna put a stanza in, it's gonna be the last one because it's just, I don't know, there's a big aplomb there, like um, very true statements that deserve to be put in books, right? So I hope you enjoyed that because it is true, despite the fact that I do want to have kids still, right? Because man hands on misery to man, right? We're always going to suffer. We're always going to make each other suffer. And one thing you can do about that is to simply not have kids, you know? So there's truth here, and it's memorable and well written. And finally, number 1, a poem by Alison Luterman. I Confess. I stalked her in the grocery store. Her crown of snowy braids held in place by a great silver clip, her erect bearing radiating tenderness, watching the way she placed yogurt and avocados in her basket, beaming peace like the North Star. I wanted to ask, what aisle did you find your serenity in? Do you know how to be married for 50 years? Or how to live alone? Excuse me for interrupting, but you seem to possess some knowledge that makes the earth turn and burn on its axis. But we don't request such things from strangers nowadays. So I said, I love your hair. This poem is really lovely and also very relatable. What makes the poem number 1 is the ending, where they say, oh, we don't ask these things of strangers anymore. We don't do that these days, right? So it becomes a social commentary about how we need to start asking old people advice, right? Which is something that I probably should do at some point, right? I want to ask an older person, how do I live a better life? So, something to think about. There was a time when I didn't respect poetry at all, because most of the poetry I read seemed sad and dull. I'm glad I was able to find these. And that's it, my top 10 favorite poems. I discovered these poems in 2025, and I'm glad I could share them all here. I hope you like them. Have a nice day, everyone.